Wendy? Was it you that asked the question?
It wasn't. No, actually, it wasn't.
It wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me.
And just
but I am curious. I am very curious. I did actually do a fell upon a website the other day, which kind of did a bit of thought provoking, and it was about the 5D Great Awakening map. I don't know if anybody's fallen upon it at the moment or knows anything about it. I'm just kind of digging a little bit at the moment, and it's quite interesting for people who obviously are spiritually minded, who obviously their eyes are open and the minds have been open and stuff. But it's very interesting. I was originally going to have the jab, but I've now decided through with the angels, being guided by the angels, I'm not going to have the jab. And obviously I've done my research and it kind of makes me feel I'm doing the right thing. But that's my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's out there, this 5D Great Awakening map. It's very interesting. There's loads of other links that might be of use to stuff for people to research. Like I say, it's just something I've started to look into, and yeah, I'll leave it up to you all.
yes, thank you.
See what you can find. Yeah.
One of the things that I would like to say, and this is not an opinion, this is kind of like to ask you all, what do you think a vaccination is? You know, when somebody says, oh, I'm having a vaccination, what do you actually think? How do you think it works? What do you think it does? Now, the traditional way, the original way that we have this idea about vaccination is that we're given something of the disease so that our immune system can respond to it and build up antibodies. Yeah? Nod? Yeah. Can everybody nod or shake, yeah, or ask a question? Yeah? Yeah. Have I said that in a way that everybody understands? The idea always of a vaccination is that we're given some germ or virus or part of a disease so that our immune system can recognize it, build up antibodies so that we're protected from it. If you agree with me that that is the definition of a vaccination, then I can tell you that the COVID is not a vaccination. It's not that definition. So do look very closely into what it is and what you are doing and what you think you're doing. It's not what you think is a vaccination, if you agree with my definition. It can't be. We're supposed to have a new variety in England. And it takes years to create a vaccine. This new variety we've only just got. So how can the vaccine that they're using be right? Trust your, this is a time to not trust anyone but yourself.
Your intuition, very much.
So thank you, Wendy.
No, thank you.
Really go with you. I've got a friend and I'll talk to her and she'll say, oh, I'm not sure. And then I'll talk to her and she'll go, all right, I'm not having it. No, I really feel I'm not having it. And then I'll see her 2 weeks later and she's going, oh, I'm not sure. And her head has got full of stuff. But she said, oh, here I know I shouldn't. But how, that this is, and it's part of going into the Aquarian age. Making decisions from our intuition is the feminine way. And everybody, whether one's in a masculine body, a feminine body, mixture body, whatever, that's irrelevant. But the feminine is a way of being, a way of acting, a way of sensing the world, and it's from the inside, and it's entering our own truth, and that is what the Aquarian age is all about, that feminine inner knowing. And no needle can, yeah. I mean, they'll have to kill me first.
Me
no
too.
Joking. Absolutely not joking.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
It's only designed to kill us anyway, so they might as well kill me anyway. And that's all right.
I trust the universe, Christine, and the angels and the higher beings. So, and I trust my own intuition. So,
what have we got immune systems for? They've worked for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So, invitation for anyone else to share or ask. Who was it that asked me what was happening on the 20th?
Oh, it was me, because somebody was talking about March, and then you went on until January. So
yeah, January the 20th. It's the inauguration. Still can't say
inauguration.
Thank you. Of or not the next American president. Yeah.
Yes. And was there something else in March? No.
So those that either are channeling or have information or are guessing from the information that they have suggest that there might not be a proper inauguration of a president on the 20th, and President Trump might continue, and there'll be no proper decision until the end of March.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Christine.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. When you were speaking before, you mentioned about people not having a soul and that they're feeding off the energy of children. Did I understand correct?
Yes.
So there are people that do not have a soul. And how do they feed off the energy of children?
Right. Well, when it is,
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And it's a big question. Thank you. It isn't, there are people that don't have souls, but the people I'm talking about have betrayed their souls. They have separated from their souls, and they've made a contract with the devil against their soul. So we all have a sense of right and wrong. We don't have to be told what. I don't believe we have to be educated into what is right and wrong. It's part of being human. We have a sense. And that's part of angelic Reiki, connecting to my higher self, which absolutely has a sense of right and wrong. And these people have abdicated. They've cut from their soul, and they have sold themselves to the devil. And this is awful. So anyone that doesn't know this, kind of hold on to your chair, and I'm sorry, but this is how it is. Children are, and this is one of the things, if whatever you think of Donald Trump, one of the things he promised to do was free these children. So he has my heart from then on. There are children who are farmed and held in bases under the earth, and they are cruelly treated because when somebody's in pain, they create a lot of adrenaline. This adrenaline in blood creates an elixir called adrenochrome. And when you start injecting this, which is a bigger hit than any cocaine, but when one starts using it, you cannot live without it. So they actually, if they stop torturing children and they stop drinking their blood, they will die. So they are living off other people's lives. And that is happening to an extent you would never, ever credit. And the person who has done, so one of the people I respect tremendously at the moment is a guy called Sasha Stone. And I'll write his name in there's links on the website to him. And he has actually set up a council and interviewed lots and lots of what they call insiders. And he interviewed a man that it makes me cry every time I listen to this particular interview. So there's this guy called Roger something. And this is exactly how the story goes. So, and if you go on any of the links, let me write in Sasha Stone right now. You might have to, oops, I've done that right. Oh, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. It's not in the meeting. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to write a message and it's only going to Ida. Why?
You have to click on chat.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, I've done all of that. Sorry, I can't do it. SHCHASTONE, Stone. Okay, Sacha Stone. A link's on the website. So this guy, and I'm not sure whether he's from the Netherlands or from Denmark as his home, and something happened just around his birth, and I think so it created that the father blamed the mother for something terrible happening, and because of this hatred, this child was abused in all sorts of ways, and his home and his life at home was absolutely awful. Anyway, so the school, and this you can listen to this guy's testimony in the court, in this court that Sasha Stone has created to investigate child trafficking and how it works. And so when he was at school, he was obviously very, very intelligent, but he was obviously a very hurt child. So the school contacted the education authority, and the education authority put him in a Roman Catholic orphanage. There, he was sexually abused. And the abuse was, and that just went on for years. He managed to get out of there and back into normal school. By this time, his parents had separated and his mother was homeless, living in a caravan. He decided that he was going to make enough money to make it, and he became very good at trading. He would steal little things, have a stall in a local market and sell them. And he managed to earn a lot. He was very intelligent, and he managed to earn enough money to get his mother into a little flat. He hated people. They'd abused him in every possible way. He just hated people. And he became very, very good at making money. By 27, he was so good at manipulating the markets, he created an economic crisis in Italy. He traded on the black market. He then was co-opted, was asked to join one of the cartels, and he was taken to a ceremony. In that ceremony was child sacrifice. in that moment, because if you take that, you actually commit to that cartel with your blood. And if you betray them, you have, the contract is that you are killed. Although he hated people and was a very, very damaged person, when he saw the child sacrifice, he left. And he was hounded and searched for, I think it was 7 years. And he just had to hide in any place around the world because he got out. And he tells his story. And that is how so all of these people, like all in the United States of America, when there is not a court in that land that is honest, there is not one court in America that will hold up the law. They've all been compromised, and this is how it's done. And it's also done by, obviously, the best part of this, or the easiest bit, is paedophilia. That's, that's nowhere near as bad as the torture of children to create blood that is full of adrenaline so that you can create the elixir of adrenochrome, which is it's like an elixir of life. And as I say, if they stop taking it, they die.
So where are all the parents?
Pardon?
Sorry, but where are all the parents of all these children, and how come
they're also abused, Anita? They don't know what they're doing. This is passed down from parent to child, and in fact, there is less child abuse within families now than there was when I was a kid.
Wow.
Wow. And nobody's grasped anybody up so far.
There is no court in the United States at the moment that will listen. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
And I'm not criticizing the United States at all. They are living out, they're just living out part of this. And it's like the question is, to bring it home. So we've got here, I'm talking about incredible betrayal of people, but bringing it down. Remember, all of this is a reflection of us. Have you ever betrayed yourself? We all have. And it's about going, yeah. And then forgiving ourselves. And that puts a drop of compassion in the ocean of human consciousness. So that's your answer.
Wow. Is there a name to this place under the earth where all these children are?
There's lots everywhere.
No, is there?
Yeah.
It's awful.
So but the thing is that that it's always been known that we've been in a way an experiment in darkness, and it really, really can't get darker. But now that it's seen, now that we're saying no, because large numbers, most people in power, in governments, running the pharmaceutical companies, running the courts, these that are supposed to support good, all of these people have agreed to this happening and take part. And now we're saying no. And we've just not and this has been, you know, on one hand, we can criticize social media, etc., etc. But it is that has made it possible for this information to be shared. And this is the courage. That's why I said, you know, today I've been finding myself in quite a lot of warrior energy, you know, and that is fine, and we need this to actually stand up and say no. And every day when I go out, I say no. I am not. I have free will, and if I want to, you know, and I have absolute sovereignty over my body. And because I've joined the common law court, that is now in law, and the government has no right over my body. They cannot tell me to wear a mask. Because I choose free will to live my life how I want. And that's our sovereignty, and that's our divine right that no law can give me and no law can take away. But we've been conned into giving our power to authority, and there is no authority except you and your relationship to the divine. But we've been conned into, yeah, doing what the teacher says, doing what the government says, doing what the doctor says. I was in a shop down in my little village, and there was two guys talking, and he was saying, because we've got lockdown here, really, which, as I say, I take no notice of. And this one guy was saying, oh yeah, it's awful. And one of his relations had died from COVID, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Hang on. Had died from COVID. And yeah, how sad it was. And they've been in hospital, and they've been given lots of antibiotics. Antibiotics do not work with viruses. And all doctors know that. So why was a doctor prescribing a virus in my hospital here? The test for the virus, it's called the CPR test, cannot detect a disease. They cannot test for COVID. There's never ever been a positive test of COVID. It's medically, scientifically impossible because the test they're doing cannot test for it. And the person who designed, so the CPR test, a virus is RNA in a coating of protein. It is so, it's very, 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 very tiny. And so the CPR is a way of multiplying something to make it bigger until it can be seen. But what does that mean? Doesn't mean it's infecting someone. Doesn't mean that person's ill. And that virus might be dead. And that's all the court cases. There's a big court case that was started that's going worldwide and was started in Germany. And there's also a court case. Every member of the British Parliament have been sent a summons saying that they will be arrested when the court case comes for acting, for creating a law without due care and attention to the truth. And that is what has just been, that's very similar to what has just been overturned in Denmark. Because all of it is it's none of it's true. And viruses don't cause diseases anyway. I'll have to lift this. That book. What really makes you ill, and it's 10 years research. It's on Amazon. What really makes you ill, and that is a report on the scientific evidence, but also the information you need is in the March newsletter. The proof that viruses don't cause diseases. It's in Abraxas. I think it's March this year. You've got all the information you need. So how can you have a vaccination against something that doesn't cause disease anyway? Okay.
Christine, what would you say? My mum's a care worker in London, in the UK, and she had to have it yesterday. She's caring for a couple that are in their 90s, and when she took them to go in their little village to have it done, there was a lot of pressure, and she ended up having to have it. What would you say?
I think to have what? Sorry, I'm not. Yeah.
She had the injection and the injection against COVID, apparent. What would, and I said, please don't have it, but the Pfizer injection. What would you say going forward for somebody who has had it?
I don't know, bless them.
Okay.
No, and I've been thinking about that. And I know that homeopathy can deal with the side effects of most vaccinations, and my trust is that there's already so many people being vaccinated, that my trust is that there is so much new science and technology that at the other side of this that we will have, that there will be some antidote. That is my trust and my hope. Because there's in development are some amazing healings, and it's once all disease is actually a response to some level of toxin or poison, because our immune system is perfectly capable of doing what it needs to do, perfectly capable. We just need to have good food, good exercise, and clean air, and and we can live healthy lives. And the other thing is that for me, it's also okay to die. When again we look at the bigger picture, they can't kill me anyway. They can get rid of this body, but they can't actually do anything with me. So there's to kind of move into a bigger picture where whatever happens, especially if someone has had their life, as it were, then death is okay. Yeah. Anyone else?
Christine, this is Angela.
Who's that?
Angela Buccelli.
Oh, hey, Angela. Yes, you're very, very faint. Can you speak up a bit?
Okay. Okay, did you say that virus does not create disease, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what are, the people are dying?
Yeah.
What are they dying from? For
A
what? For the
combination of things, and it's different in every case. Some people have got, so all flus, most flu type symptoms are actually physical symptoms of cleansing. Now, there's a number of things happening, so there isn't, sorry, I need to drink. There isn't a black and white answer. I suggest that you search, I can't give you a direct link, but there's a lot of research done, or a lot came to the surface in New York, and how the hospitals were actually killing people in New York because they thought they were treating a virus. They weren't treating a virus. So what the medical treatment that people are giving is what's killing them. The worst thing you can do for COVID is give somebody oxygen, because what they found in New York is that the symptoms are like the symptoms of altitude sickness, where the body can't get rid of the carbon dioxide. So to actually give somebody a mask with more oxygen will make them worse, will kill them. And this is what they realized was happening in New York. But New York was also, that's where most of the information that I know of has come from. New York, there was a lot of vaccination against all sorts of things. There's a lot of pollution, et cetera, et cetera. It's not a healthy environment. So it's, and one of the things that has had an effect are the chemtrails. They were putting, there's a whole trail of stuff. So in the chemtrails, there were a number of chemicals, aluminium being one of them. And it's something like there's a chain reaction. Aluminium in the body allows another poison, another toxin in food, I think it is, to actually create a reaction in the cells, which means that the lungs are affected and we can't get rid of oxygen. So it's a combination of all those sort of things that are actually creating the symptoms.
Thank you.
And all these so-called epidemics can be traced back to combinations of things. And you know, another, if you can, it's kind of, if there is an open-minded investigator and they think, right, okay, I'll pretend it's not a virus, what else might it be? They're always finding something. And there's often a astrological alignment and sun activity connected to these epidemics as well.
It's very interesting, that point.
Mm. Yeah, and this is it. The whole thing is bigger than us anyway. So on one level, we can't understand it all. But one thing we can understand is I have free will. I have autonomy over my own life, and I claim that. And I also claim to act from my higher self. And I will do that with compassion, but I will do it with authority. Okay, any other comments or questions or sharings?
Another meditation. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I found that I've recorded the talk at the beginning. I haven't recorded the meditation. Oh yes, I have.